Hey yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to Reflections of a DJ, the Road podcast, the playlist edition. You know?
Yeah.
I made it.
Yo, I'm one of your hosts, DJ Crooked. I rep New York and Las Vegas. We have Jamie the Great repping LA, Las Vegas.
Yeah.
We have one of the illest party rockers in the game. Some of y'all might remember him from Beach Street Records in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
We got Goldfinger repping Brooklyn in the
What
building.
up?
Yeah.
And obviously, we're here in Delaware right now. You know, we're invading, Jazzy Jeff's home. He's been gracious to have all us degenerates over here, and invade his home. And we're hosting, while he's here, he's hosting the 6th playlist retreat after a 5-year hiatus.
Yeah.
And the last one was in 2019. Now, we have the legend himself, Jazzy Jeff here. Jazzy Jeff, thank you for... We're so honored to be here, number one, and so honored that you were available to sit with us.
Yeah, man, I've been trying to get on the podcast for a minute.
Yeah.
Y'all was just like, nah, we don't need you.
But I mean, but we want to. There's mics everywhere. Like whoever wants to speak and they want to speak open. This is my first time attending. There's a lot of people that's their first time attending. And I kind of want to hear from everyone. I want to hear from the OGs. I want to hear from people who've been here all the 5 years from 2015 to 19. But also, I feel like this is maybe the most new blood you've had at the playlist this year.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to, I'm curious. It's interesting because even though this is the 6th playlist, it's been almost a decade, right?
10 years.
I kind of want to ask you, obviously the brand is stronger than ever after a 5-year hiatus. And I'm kind of I wanted to kind of see why you started this in 2015. And, and because it boggles my mind that you would let a bunch of people and DJs at your house, right?
Right.
But you had this, I don't know, was there a sense of urgency or was there a priority in your head to be like, yo, we need this and and I'm gonna open my home to everybody?
This really started from a few things. It started from Summit Series. I went on Summit Series, which is a gathering of creatives of all walks. You got to pay a lot of money to go to Summit. So it was weird because I had to go by myself, and I haven't really went by myself too many places in a long time. So I was really uncomfortable, but it turned out to be one of the best experiences, that I had, just allowing me to open myself up. And then, shout out to Scratch Bastard, my man Big Breakfast Flip Out. For Red Bull 3 style. Like when we started doing Red Bull 3 style, the beginning, it would be 3 days. And, we all would kind of get together. Most of y'all, we have done shows together. And, we might go get a grub if we're lucky, or we talk for about 20 minutes backstage. But when 3 style kind of turned into a week, what I've realized is we were having different conversations. When you're with somebody for an hour, the conversations are normally good. Hey man, and how you been? Wife, kids, whatever. When you're with somebody for a week, you start to look behind the curtain,
right?
And realize, this is difficult. It's taxing on your body. It's taxing on your relationship. It's taxing on your finances. There's a lot of uncertainty that we kind of go through. And what I realized is 3 style became really therapeutic. Mm-hmm. That we would do 3 style, and I felt like our cup was full. Like you filled your gas tank up. And we would be cool going around the world and playing, and couldn't wait for the next 3 style till we all got together to kind of fill our gas tank again.
Right.
So I was like, man, I really want to figure out a way to take this and use this for us, because we were all in all of these places because of Red Bull 3 style, because of the DJ competition. So it still really wasn't about us. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I want to figure out a way to make this about us. And I was like, I don't understand how we can put this together. So my wife threw me a surprise 50th birthday party. which I'm still kind of mad at a lot of y'all in this room who kind of came because y'all could have told me.
Hey, yo, what's good, what's good, what's good? This is Crooked. We got Jamie the Great here.
Yeah.
We're here to let you know that we have launched our Patreon. And if you fuck with us,
Really fuck with us.
if you really fuck with us,
Some ride or die shit out
like
here.
if you're a roadie for life.
Not a casual.
No, I'll take a casual roadie.
Fuck a casual.
I'll take a casual roadie, but if you're a roadie for life, you're going to go to patreon.com/RoadPodcast. That's patreon.com/RoadPodcast.
One more time for the people in the back.
Patreon.com/RoadPodcast.
Yes.
And you're going to sign up and you're going to get an extra episode with this membership.
Yep.
You're going to get early access to episodes. You're going to see behind the scenes vlogs.
Yep.
You're going to see extra interviews that we've never released.
Whoa, you're giving a lot of free shit going on.
A lot of free shit.
No,
Look,
Crooked.
this is our opportunity to like further build and enhance our community
Yes.
that we built with y'all. This is like a deeper dive into what we do and what goes on here. And you know, these extra episodes that we're gonna release a month on our Patreon, this is gonna go back to kind of the old school Road podcast where we would talk about all our personal experiences and everything that's going on, from gigs to music to, you know,
The foundation of us.
everything.
Everything.
So if you want to show support, go to patreon.com/RoadPodcast. That's patreon.com/RoadPodcast. We'll see you there.
See you there.
But it was, you know, she had my favorite group, Moonchild, who was in here. They came and performed, you know, Scratch Bastard, Z-Trip.
Yeah.
You know, we had a club in the basement. Like it was, like I was tripping. Like this is, and then so I'm sorry for going on a tangent because I'm still a little mad. But she lied to me. You know, they sent me to London to do a show. And I never got on the normal flight that I get to come back. I had to take a later flight, so I was angry. But the reason was because all of the people from London was on the flight that I was supposed to be on.
Yeah.
So we landed. Wife, you know, met me at the airport. Never does that.
Yeah.
Just, hey, you know what? Your birthday's coming up. I want to do something just you and I. All right, cool. We get in the car. Everybody else leaves. We go to a hotel. She got my suit there. I take a shower, put my suit on. I'm good. We get in the car and we start driving. And we started driving towards Delaware. So I was in my brain, I'm like, okay, so I guess we gonna do whatever we gonna do in Delaware because it's close to the home. We got off the exit and she was luring me into this really deep conversation. And we got off my exit. So I can't say anything. I'm just like, okay, shit, we going home. Maybe she forgot something. And then she turns at the driveway and she stops. And she just said, happy birthday, babe. Wow. And I said, thanks. And she said, close your eyes. So I was like, oh shit, they're gonna kill me.
Oh, shit.
So I closed my eyes. We drove down and ended up walking in the front and everybody was there. The reason why I tell that story is because the way that my brain works, I was super duper appreciative of that. But I looked at my wife and said, we could pull this shit off.
Nice.
Wow.
Like the level of detail, I was like, I think we can pull it off. And the president of Serato was there.
So you were impressed with your wife's like logistics as well, right?
Listen, I was super impressed to the point that I'm like, we might need to do this.
Wow.
And you know, we had people from Serato there, and we started giving the idea. We literally sat at the kitchen table with a yellow pad and pen, and wrote down
at your birthday
the
party.
idea.
Wow.
And wrote it down, and that August we did it. And I really wanted to do it once. Like it was kind of like, okay, we gonna get together and we gonna share ideas, you know, because it was kind of like you just can't let people come to the crib and not give them an agenda. So I ended up hiring a friend of mine and gave him the idea, and he kind of curated. And we started curating it in a way of, what do we need? Like, what is it that we need? You know, we were having mental health talks.
Right.
You know, we were having social media talks, like, you know, how can we, you know, big up our presence and things like that. So we went to Twitter and Instagram and invited them. We went and talked to a mental health specialist and invited them. And it was probably 35 people at the first one. And everybody came. And what I didn't expect was the level of emotion when it was over. Like there were people crying, and it started to come out because we spent those days together, and there were people like, listen, man, I'm not really happy with my trajectory. I was ready to quit. And I got this call, and I came. Really? And first of all, I said this yesterday, times were a little bit different. Mm-hmm. For me to be able to pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm having a creative retreat at my house, and I want you to come. But you can't bring anybody. There's no managers, there's no agents, there's no nothing. You can take all of the photos and videos that you want, but you can't post anything until Thursday. I wouldn't have came. I wouldn't have came. I'd have, some weirdo shit. I'm not doing that.
You're saying now?
I wouldn't have come.
Even in 2015?
I would not have come. So there's some people here that I invited for 3 years. And that's the reason why I keep inviting them, because I knew I wouldn't have came the first year. And sometimes people need a little bit more of a push. But, through the videos and a lot of the stuff that was posted online, right, people kind of got an inside of what it was. Yeah,
because 9 years, right? 9 years deep, almost 10 years deep, we kind of know what this is all about. But the first year, nobody understood what you were trying to do.
Respect to anybody in here that came the first year just off of me picking up the phone and coming, because I wouldn't have did that.
How many people here is for the first time? Playlist virgins. All my playlist virgins. Yeah. All right. That's what's up.
Wait, how many people in the audience have been here at like 3+ years?
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
So there's substantially way more new blood in here, like first timers in here. Mm-hmm. Why did you do that this year?
In order to grow this, you have to rotate it. You have to rotate it. The downside of having this at my home is I only want a certain amount of people to kind of keep the focus really direct. So we have to turn it over. Guys like Scratch Bastards, guys like J Period, guys like Rich Medina are almost like camp counselors because they know the lay of the land, and they actually keep people in check. Because you got to help the people who don't know what this is. There's a lot of people that come in here and it's just like, okay, I'm walking around because I don't really understand. Am I supposed to touch the gear? Am I supposed to DJ? So you have people that kind of guide them, pretty much through the process.
So where were you musically around 2014 and 15? Because I also feel like you were kind of really curious musically, which is why you wanted to do this retreat, because you wanted a bunch of creatives to come in a circle, whether it was a producer, DJ, performer, writer, songwriter. You wanted all the musicians and all the creators to come here, and you kind of wanted to see what came out of it, right?
No. You know what's funny? I gotta give a super duper shout out to DJ Day, who's not here.
Yeah.
But DJ Day and I did a do-over, and DJ Day played a song from Tall Black Guy, and he played a song from Stro Elliott. And I walked up to him and I said, what the fuck is that? And he was like, yo, this is guy Stro Elliott, Tall Black Guy, and he gave it to me. When we got the 3-set, this is when we were in Azerbaijan, and I played Tall Black Guy, and everybody in there put up their phone to Shazam it, and they couldn't get it. And it became, everybody was like, what the fuck is that?
Right.
The first retreat, what I thought, because one thing about me is I don't hold music. Like, you want anything I got in my folder, I give it. So it became a situation, because you know what it is? The music ain't ours anyway.
Yeah.
If somebody like Tay Powers makes a really dope edit, I don't do her any service by holding it myself. She didn't make it for me. She made it for all of us. So I like spreading music around. So here I am giving Tall Black Guy stuff out, Stro Elliott stuff out, 14KT stuff out.
Wow.
And then I'm reaching out to them on social media. Like, hey, you know, I got some music from DJ Day. I really appreciate it. And then what happened, you start this direct line of communication that whenever Stro Elliott makes something, he sends it to you. He sends it to me. I give it to Scratch Bastard. Scratch Bastard gives it to Newmark. And the music started to go around. So the first retreat, I was like, I want to invite some of the best DJs in the world, and I want to invite the What the Fuck guys. Because if you make it and we play it, we're starting an ecosystem.
Right.
You make it, we play it, keep making it, keep giving it to us, we're going to keep playing it. You know, then we got a little bit of an advantage because we're playing the What the Fuck records. People just like, oh, shit, what is that? And we all got it, you know. So it really started with that and grew into, okay, you know, we might need to start adding vocalists, and we might need to start adding some singers and some MCs, and what if we added some engineers, and what if we added, and it really became the ecosystem that I wanted to build was a group of creatives that in the room, you don't need anybody else outside this room. You got a dope guitar player, you got a dope drummer, you got dope producers, you got dope MCs, you got dope singers, you got engineers, you know, now you got legal and you got this. I'm kind of like, yo, I'm trying to make it to the point that if you need something, ask the people in this room.
So initially, it came from DJing itself, and then it spread to your favorite producers, kind of low-key producers, up-and-coming producers, creating these edits.
Yeah.
And you were kind of ahead of your time because the amount of, you know, we are so dependent on edits. It's like we live and breathe on edits now as DJs in the clubs, you know? And to see that kind of evolve through the last 9-10 years. So around, I would say, the second or third playlist, it really started opening up to musicians and engineers and everything.
Yeah.
So after your 5-year hiatus, the pandemic hit in 2020, you know, all of us DJs and creators were like, this retreat is never coming back, right? Yeah. Pretty much.
Me too.
You look like you weren't coming back either. You look like you were happy with Twitch. You weren't just going to go outside. And you were just like happy in your own little world. When you wanted to do this again with Lynette, your wife, or maybe you didn't want to do it. She, you know, she was putting it on, you know, she was forcing it. She was.
Well, no, she wasn't forcing it. You know, I've always said when you throw the party, you don't go to the party.
Yeah.
You know, I understood what the retreat means to everybody else. I've never been to the retreat. It really got to a point that Lynette and I started looking at each other, and it was like, I think it's our duty to do this. Why did I do this in the first place? Like, why did I'm not the throw a party person. Like, I don't throw house parties and shit like that.
Well, looking back on it now, can you answer that?
It was, you know what? Like I said, I was excited to have my gas tank full.
Right.
Like it helped me get through the year. It helped me do the dates, you know, it helped me get on these long flights. It helped me miss my wife and my kids, you know, just having that motivation.
But now 10 years later, 9 years later,
It's like a purpose now.
Now you're looking at it completely different. It's not only just about you now.
No. It wasn't about me in the first place.
Right.
It really wasn't about me. But you start to realize that some people, I'm not trying to get philosophical, but some people are here for a purpose.
Preach.
You know, and sometimes people don't know what their purpose is. You know, a lot of times you'll have bad shit happen to you, and you don't realize that the bad shit that happened to you was a lesson for somebody else. You was just a victim of circumstance.
The vehicle.
You were the vehicle. So it got to the point that, you know, I thought as DJs, we all needed something for us. And then I realized it's not just us. You know, maybe some MCs needed that, and maybe some producers needed that. And when you start having those conversations, you know, most of us have issues with the industry that we're in.
Right.
You know, I don't know too many people who like the industry that we're in, but we have a love of the music.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do something almost outside the industry. Let's make this shit about music.
Yeah. How, in your opinion, speaking with everyone and talking with everyone, has the concerns and frustrations or issues, have they changed in the last 10 years? Or do they seem like some of them have just stayed and have been stagnant, you know?
The issues in the industry?
I
Or
mean, just of what you see in the people attending, you know?
You realize how much this is needed. The industry hasn't gotten better.
Right.
So I think we kind of need these kind of things more now than ever.
The frustrations and concerns and issues from 2015, they're almost identical to now because it's really just about
Magnified.
coping. Yeah. So it hasn't changed at all.
No, it's super magnified. I mean, listen, I listen to you guys' podcasts and listen to you guys talk about the issues that DJs have in clubs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we no longer can just go to a place and just play music. Somebody got a whole list of prerequisites that you have to kind of follow, and none of these people DJ. And I think the key thing that happened, especially with the pandemic, is as much as the agents and as much as the managers and as much as the club owners used to make you feel like shit, like you were the low man on a totem pole, I didn't see none of them DJ during the pandemic. We took over. Yep. Scratch Bastard had his own club. He was his agent. He did everything, and they didn't. So I think the pendulum started to swing a little bit back.
Right.
That it's kind of like, you know what? Like, you can't do what I do. I appreciate you. Everybody has their own purpose, but when you start doing this hierarchy thing, I'm kind of like, a club owner needs a DJ just as much as a DJ needs a club owner. But when you start acting like you are the do-all, end-all, then something like the pandemic happens and you sitting home looking at an empty-ass building.
Yeah. You had like frustrations with like nightlife industry, the agencies, obviously in the 2010s, especially after DJM passed.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the agency kind of, it just became like a free-for-all. It was like the Wild West for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, how do you see how it's evolved now? Where like I feel like DJs are really controlling. They're creating their own parties, their own theme parties, and they've taken control. And as we've kind of seen a little bit more, nightclubs are kind of like losing their way a little bit. They're losing what they're going. So how do you see all of this? Like,
I don't know what goes on in a club now. Like, I detached myself really, really far from the club scene. I like playing music for people who like hearing music. That necessarily, you know, it was a little different than during the pandemic. Lynette took over my entire business, which was really interesting because me coming home, having conversations with her just about some of the trials and tribulations, now she's next to me and she's watching it and she gets to understand how much of this shit makes no sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it got to the point, the pandemic happened, I started streaming. The aha moment for me was most of the people I know around my age have zero desire to go to a club, but they still like good music. They still like good DJs. And I started to think, like, if you're 50 years old, where do you hear Scratch Bastard at? I'm not going to the club to hear Scratch Bastard, but I'm a fan of his. So once people started streaming, and I realized that now you're taking your talents into somebody's living room, I looked at this shit like Netflix. Like, wait a minute. It's more people in the house than in the club. So why not start playing for the people in the house? You can still do the club or still go and play out, but it's more people that you're reaching in your home. You know, and of course we had the issues with, you know, Instagram, licensing, and all the rest of that. But that was a really big eye-opening thing for me that I kind of took myself and made the declaration that I am not doing clubs anymore. And my reasoning is just like a restaurant. I don't know anybody who has opened up a club and did not know what kind of music they wanted to play. So if you opened up a techno club, there are fans of the club. It's not necessarily have to be fans of the DJs. You can be a fan of the club. Mm-hmm. If you are a fan of the techno club that just so happens to throw a party and book DJ Newmark, you mad at Newmark for not playing techno. Yep. And it was the wrong, all it was is the wrong place.
But you started encountering that more in the 2010s or earlier than that, you think?
Well, no. I mean, you really started to get it around the 2010s when the EDM explosion happened.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, because not everybody was playing EDM. Mm-hmm. And you got to the point that people had a list of records, you know, and that was really weird for me. That was, you know, I don't take requests. But it's weird when somebody is telling you like you booked me. You booked me, but telling me what you want me to do. I'm like, shit, you do it then. You know, but when it started to get like that, you started to say, okay, you know, things are changing. You know, you started seeing, you know, there were clubs in Miami that there were people that was like, you can't play this particular artist because somebody had a problem with this particular artist. And I'm sitting there like, all right, now we're going too far. Now, because now I feel like you're booking me. You're booking me to do a wedding and telling me what your favorite playlist is. And so that wasn't what I got into it for.
So was that like maybe some of the most frustrating times for you during that period DJing and being out?
You know what? I've been blessed because pretty much when I was doing the most dates that I would do in a year, I was doing about 160 dates a year. About 120 of them were international. Mm. And anybody who does international, which you just got off a flight from Asia, realizes that it's very different. They're more accepting of music there, and you hate that. You hate that being from here, that we are supposed to be in the position, we're supposed to be in the leader position. And you can go to London and you can go so much deeper in your crates and play shit. And the level of appreciation, you know, is so much greater that I just really started, you know, all right, shit, I'm going over there.
Wow. When you put this together, and obviously it's a frustrating time, 2010s, mid-2000s, right? And then you're kind of getting together with all the Red Bull 3-style DJs. You're getting that camaraderie. You're also like, you know, you're dealing with DJs and creatives at the highest level of their craft. Mm-hmm. So you're creating this new playlist retreat. And, you know, the selection process, obviously in the beginning, it was like people in your circle.
Yeah.
And then as the second or third year starts evolving, fourth, fifth year to now 2024, how much has the selection process and the vetting of who's going to come, who's invited, how does that work now?
You know what's funny? And any of the alumni know, after the first year, I started going to everyone saying, if you can invite one person, who would it be? Mm. That's L. What I love is once people understood what this was, I was really shocked how some of the people skipped someone I thought they would invite. Mm. And it was really because they were like, yeah, that's my man, but this ain't for him.
Wow.
So I appreciate that because you started to get this thing that it was like, we need to protect this. So I really started going, and that's where the process, people thought that it was me picking all of these people, but so much of it was, hey man, like if you got to invite somebody, I'm gonna do this. Hey Jeff, next year, Newmark just said it, hey man, if you wanna do a panel on such and such, you should invite, and that's where you get it. You know what I mean? If you wanna know a good keyboard player, ask a good bass player.
Right.
Mm. That's a joke.
So it's the ultimate, it actually just kind of opened up the retreat, expanded through word of mouth, just basically a cosign.
That's
right?
it.
Wow.
I was going to ask you, who's your dream attendee that you wish to have here?
Ah, man, I don't.
Okay.
Thank you.
Clark Kent.
Clark Kent. So, listen, I tried to get Clark to come to almost every retreat. Unfortunately, Clark's anniversary is around the same time that we would do the retreat.
Yeah.
So he couldn't come. So thank God that we moved it, and I got my man in the building.
Happy early birthday, Clark. Happy early birthday.
But I don't know if I had a dream person that I wanted to come. It's just, I God willing, I hope to be doing this for a long time, and I hope to get to everybody that I haven't gotten to.
Yeah. You mentioned before that, you want everyone collaborating and you want everyone like intermingling in this melting pot. And you said, over what you were surprised to notice with that, some of the older generation attendees were not as receptive to this, or
No, some of the younger ones.
the younger ones weren't.
Some of the young ones. But you know what's funny is the very first retreat let me know that a lot of the older generation have stuff to show the younger generation.
Yes.
But the younger generation has to give the older generation courage. Because the older that you get, the more afraid you are to jump. When you young, you jumping all day, every day.
Interesting.
And I really needed that to go the other way, because having these conversations with people that kind of get stuck, they get stuck, social media stuck, or just evolving stuck, that you kind of need somebody that was your younger self. You threw caution to the wind when you were younger. So
It's just as you get older, you get safe, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the youth, they'll take any risk that you can, right?
And listen, they
But
want to go, they're going to get there by
Right.
any means necessary.
But have you noticed anything about the youth? Because I was curious, now they're speaking on it, that, I feel like maybe the older generation is more comfortable with collaborating. And then the younger generation, they're more isolated because of technology. They're able to produce by themselves. They could be a one-man band. So are you noticing that was there kind of that little wall?
Absolutely.
How do you break that wall? Through the retreat, how did you break that wall? Or
Make them uncomfortable.
so
Like I don't want to give away, because there's some new people,
Yeah.
and we're going to get to that uncomfortable part.
Okay.
But there was a need to make people get out of their own way. We issue a creative challenge, and we have a creative way of putting teams together, and it has to be a collaborative effort. And there are people who make music that have never collaborated with anybody before. Technology reasons. I'm in my bedroom. I'm on a different wavelength than everybody else. But what I found, the people in here that have heard some of the challenges, is that's arguably one of the greatest records you would ever hear. Because once you are forced into that uncomfortable position, everybody in here has a level of mastery to their craft that any of you, if you put on a spot and say, Flip Out, I need you to play 30 minutes right now. He might not be the most comfortable in doing that, but he's going to do a really good job because he's already got that skill level. So it's not like you can't do it. You just might not be comfortable in doing it. And then when you realize what you can do in a short amount of time because you are put on the spot, you're like, oh shit, this is great. And that's really just to bring back, I came up when it wasn't just one person in the studio. It was a bunch of people. I know I'm dope, but me and Pos are doper. Me, Pos, and Scratch Bastard is 3 times dope. No pun intended. See what I did there?
So wait, have you felt that uncomfortableness at your retreat? Have you experienced it yourself?
Me?
Pause. Yeah.
Pause.
No, listen, I'm not uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. I'm all for collab. I don't want to do shit by myself.
So
what fun is that?
You're just like kind of monitoring and watching everything and unfold.
Let me tell you something.
Which is kind of diabolical.
You got me giving away secrets. Yeah. I would issue the challenge and I disappear. And it's the funniest shit because Kenny Dope will tell you, Kenny starts going at his spot with his team. Come on, I'm gonna show you how we're gonna get this done. When you see the deer in the headlights of people that are like, so where do we go? How do we do it? And no one answers because the answer is figure it out. You got it, figure it out. And when you push play at the end of that and hear what everybody did, you're like, it's nothing but superheroes in here.
Wow. Did you initiate this the first year?
Yes, but it wasn't the first year. It was just a challenge, and that's what made me realize the collaboration part. Because the first year, it was 30 people making a beat, and I was just like, that wasn't what I was trying to accomplish.
Just everyone goes in their own.
Like, yeah, man, everybody. People was pulling out laptops, and I'm programming a beat, and it's like, here's my challenge, and I'm just like, well, who'd you do it with? Oh, I did it myself. Then it was a point when it was 3 people on the team and it was 3 different beats. Come on, man. Come on.
So that first year was kind of a mess where you had to be like, all right, we got to change this whole shit.
Yeah.
Wow. So looking back, outside of the pandemic with this 4-year break and looking back on the 5 years, and it's kind of like this is this is like a new generation of playlist retreat that's kind of emerging in 2024. And we don't know if it's going to be next year or we don't know when the next one's going to be, but looking back on the 5 years that you did it, what are some of the moments that resonated to you the most? I mean, and honestly, I urge anyone who was at any other previous playlist retreats to please, pause, grab a mic, and speak.
One of the key things, and Dane kind of said this last night, was last retreat, Biz just drove up. Because there were certain people that I'm like, I'm just throwing the invitation out there. You ain't got to fill out shit. I just need you to come. And Biz drove up. And Biz held court. Biz sat outside the pool and had everybody laughing and was talking and came in and was answering questions like Biz held court. And for most of us, that was the last time we ever saw him.
Wow.
So I realized that we don't know what tomorrow brings. So I am very much so in this mode of appreciating every moment that you have. And and that's something that happens as you get older, but you just understand that we all are headed to the same place. We all don't know when we're going there, but just appreciate the moment that you're in.
Yeah, it shows how important an event like this is to everyone of all generations. So this is like a labor of love for you, or do you feel like it's a gift?
I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah.
Whether you want to do it or not, once and I think that was the thing, that my wife realized that when she started the planning of the retreat. I wasn't on board. She was planning and she's okay, so we're gonna do this, and I'm like,
But why is that? Why did you disconnect like that?
It was a lot. It was a lot. Like like I said, I've never been to the retreat.
So do you feel like this is maybe the first one you've been able to attend?
I'm still not here. I'm in a different capacity. I'm the person that's worried about the generators and hoping that it doesn't pour down raining and hoping that the studio is right and hoping, there's so many things. Like I said, you go to the party, you like, oh man, the food is great, the drinks is great, and and I talked to some people, and the person who's throwing it is kind of like, who flicked their cool in my pool.
True story.
Yeah.
That's what Scratch Bastard
True
said. True story. I'm gonna take his word for that.
It was an accident.
Scratch Bastard's laughing too hard right now.
It was an accident.
That's crazy.
So I don't want to say, I know like dinner's getting ready and everyone wants to get to dinner, and I don't want to keep everyone for this podcast. We have like a list of questions we're gonna ask everyone here. We're gonna probably invade your personal space a little bit with like a camera and big lights, and there's a list of questions we just kind of want to ask you. But I think we reviewed some of the questions with you.
Yeah.
But I thought it'd be great if we could ask you the questions in public and put you on the spot a little bit, and see how you answer it in front of everyone here at your playlist retreat.
Okay.
All right. So. First question is, would you go to a club with an AI DJ?
Absolutely. I want to see what that shit, what it would sound like.
You in your mind know that this is an inevitable thing coming.
The AI DJ?
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's coming.
You don't
I mean,
think so?
I think, shit is technically here, but if you know anything about DJing, it's until an AI has eyes and can read the crowd and understand the vibe and to be able to kind of do that, I'm not worried about it. Yeah, you can pick records all day. Shit, we got that on Spotify.
So you're either going to be relieved or you're going to be scared, kind of like, oh, shit.
I'm never going to be scared.
No.
What if they got that like the hologram and shit?
Nope.
Nope.
No. I'm cool.
All right. If you could choose any DJ to mentor you, who would you choose?
Grandmaster Flash. Grandmaster Flash. I was telling Poss earlier, I used to stare at Flash's hands. Like it was really one of those things. If you know anything about feel, a simple rub sounds different when Flash does it. There's something about that. There's something about the Flash bringing in the incredible bongo band on the Adventures of the Wheels of Steel that I can't do. It's a way he moves his hands. It's the funk that he's got that I don't know anybody else. Everybody got their own. I don't know anybody who's got that.
Wow. Great answer. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your relationship with music right now?
12.
12. Can you explain?
12. I am drawn to what I like. I have resigned the right for someone to tell me that something is a hit. It's really based on what I like, what it should be. I don't have a cookie cutter sheet of it needs to be this long, this verse, the hook has to come first. There's two types of music in the world to me. It's good music and bad music.
How much does this retreat help you with that score? Like, how much does it add to it?
Well, listen, with the people that I got in this room, there's a whole lot of good music.
Yeah.
So if you can surround yourself, and truthfully, that was one of the key things with this. That it's like you got this level of talent in this room. We would pass around a hard drive that everybody like, hey man, if you got some music that you made want to play, you tall black guy coming, hey man, I got some shit for you. Like cool, because we take that and next thing you know, we go out and we spread that. So I'm that's what it's here for.
Do you remember a time when you had maybe the worst relationship with music?
The worst relationship I had with music was arguably when I had a production company, A Touch of Jazz, and we were extremely successful with Music Soul Child, Jill Scott, Floetry. And I had an office. Like, I didn't have a studio anymore. I had an office, and I was answering the phone. And I was like, how the fuck did I get here? Like, that wasn't what, and you get there by someone telling you, hey, man, if you're trying to blow this up. I used to always have an issue that whenever I would follow my heart or my gut, shit would work out, and then somebody would tell me how to make it work out better, and I'd fuck it all up.
How did that change? How'd you get out the office?
I I just shut the office door and left.
He quit. He's like, fuck it.
It's like, you want to know how to get out the office? Close the door.
What's a selfish act that makes you the happiest?
A selfish act that makes me the happiest. Saying no when I don't want to do something. Without any regard.
Right. It's freeing, right? There's a freedom to it.
Yeah, I mean, you still, sometimes you still have that level of guilt, but I know who I am. I know who I am, and I know what I've done for people. So a no is cool.
Yeah.
How has your life changed after you started saying no more often?
You smile more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You understand, like, sometimes you don't want to do something. Sometimes you don't want to go somewhere. Sometimes you don't want to have company. You know what's funny is as DJs, sometimes we think that we need to take everything that was offered to us out of the fear factor of what if it dries up.
Amen.
The most liberating thing in the world was when I looked at Lynette and said, I don't want to do club dates anymore. I had no idea how much grown-up shit was out here. I worked more than I ever worked. Because I felt like, you know what? I stopped saying yes to the stuff that I was kind of like, all right, I'll do it. And started saying yes to the stuff that feeds your soul. And you realize how much shit is out there that feeds your soul.
Yeah. Do you feel like you kind of have to hit a certain kind of rock bottom to get that realization, or you got it earlier on?
I mean, I don't know if it's rock bottom. I think you just have to get to a point of what makes you happy. I think, in this business, it's very easy to lose yourself. Because everybody I know that's a creative, no matter what you do, I feel like you started doing it because you loved it. And then the next step, you realize that it can pay your bills. And if you're lucky, you get a career out of it. And I think that's one of the things that I would always say. There's a lot of DJs that think they have a career, and you got a job. A career is when you can say no.
Yeah.
You ain't saying no at a job. But I think what happens is then you get to this mode of I got a career and I want to be the biggest thing ever, so I got to say yes to everything, and you start to lose yourself.
What brings you the most happiness now?
Being creatively free. Like, the one thing that I think streaming brought me, it probably took about 2 weeks for me to realize that I'm playing for music and not a dance floor. So now I got a whole lot more music that you can play. Me and Macy will talk about this. It's kind of like, I played Christopher Cross Sailing. I never would have played that at a party.
Right.
But people love that.
How many people started streaming during the pandemic? Show of hands.
Everybody.
Clark, of course.
We're really curious to know this, all of us. This is a big question. We're like, we need to hear this. What's your first I made it moment?
Shit. Probably live at Union Square.
Oh.
I gotta listen. Let me tell you something. Clark Kent stood next to me at Live at Union Square. Wow. Clark Kent made me feel comfortable going to the rooftop and playing. Like, me and Clark go back.
Wow. I can't wait to get Clark's answer for that. Yeah, we're gonna get it. Yeah. All right. What's an artist? This is the last question. What's an artist or genre you listen to that people wouldn't expect?
I am a really big jazz fusion person.
Really?
Like, I'm like a Yellow Jackets, Pat Metheny. Like, I'll go see them in concert. And, that's my shit.
Wow.
All right, this is the last question.
Yeah.
What would you say the playlist retreat means to you? If you had to summarize it, what's a sentence that you could say what it meant if it ended today?
Payback. Like, I am so blessed to be able to do what I do through all of to have a mom to let me set turntables up on a buffet table in the dining room, and she never told me to stop making that noise. To try to explain to somebody that you wanted to be a street DJ. Because, when someone's like, so what are you doing? I was like, I'm a DJ. The first thing your mom's friend says, the radio? And you kind of like, not quite. Well, where you DJ? In the street. That wasn't really acceptable right there. But to go through all of that, to get to a point, I think I will always be trying to pay back what was paid to me.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
You got it, y'all. Jazzy Jeff.
So, Jeff, thank you so much for having us over here
Thank
to
you.
conduct this, first live podcast at the, playlist retreat. And I want to give a shout out to our brother DJ Never, who wasn't here.
Yes.
But he would have absolutely
been
loved
here.
this. He would have loved this.
Bring her on crazy.
And thank you once again for everything that you're doing. Thank you.
Give it up, y'all. One time, Jazzy Jeff. Woo. Yes.
Let's go eat.
If you want to watch more episodes from R.O.A.D Podcast, click either links on the left or the right. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page and get updated on new uploads throughout the week. Peace.